Okay, so I'm making a video on making the chocolate shell for hot chocolate bombs. So what I do first is I'm using this baking chocolate, this Ghirardelli milk chocolate chips. So I just pop it into the microwave for about 30 seconds to start, because you don't want it to seize up on you. You just want to get it to where it's like a nice smooth consistency. So basically once it gets to that, I'd say start at 30 seconds and kind of go from there. If your microwave like mine has that fancy little button, the soften melt, utilize that. It's awesome. So once you get to this kind of consistency here where you can just kind of spoon it, that's where you're going to take your little molds if you can find them. Trust me, we drove all over DFW looking for these, and I finally got them on Amazon after about 2.5 weeks. So just get your little molds. You don't have to do anything to them. That's the beauty of silicone. I fill up my spoon about that much and just kind of put it in. And then you just kind of go around the sides. Just give it a good coating. One of the things I will tell you is that you want to make sure when you're going up on the sides to hit those edges really well, because that is where you're going to be sealing your balls. And what I do with mine, which I'll show in a later video, is I kind of melt the edges before I seal them together. That way I get a seal, so you don't want them super thin, because then it just kind of breaks down on you. And I don't know about you, but when you're trying to seal up a bunch of balls, you got orders, and you're just kind of on a roll, and then you start melting your balls, you start to have your own personal meltdown. And nobody likes tears with their milk chocolate. And I say that from a baking standpoint because water and chocolate don't mix. It'll cause your chocolate to seize. Anyway, so now that we've got our coating in there, I kind of go back and just add just a smidgen more. That way I can kind of take it up on the sides a little bit. And also look for little spots that I might have missed that are really thin, because that's another issue, is you don't want your shell to be too super thin, because then when you handle it, when you're trying to put it all together, it will start to melt under your hands. Contrary to what they say, it doesn't just melt in your mouth, it does melt in your hands. You gotta find this perfect balance, because you don't want it too thick, because the whole point of these things is to melt when you're pouring your hot liquid over it. So, thin enough to melt, but thick enough to hold up. And once you start making these for yourself, you'll start figuring out your consistencies. It's all trial and error. So what I do is I kind of just get into the light and just kind of go around. So like, see that spot right there? Just hit those little spots that you might have missed. Look for anything that might be a little thin. It's kind of hard when you got this color silicone, but basically you'll get the idea and you'll be able to tell. So these are good, these are coated, so the next thing is to pop them into the fridge. Depending on the temperature of your fridge, I like to stick mine in my beverage drawer because I can get it down to -1. So then it only takes maybe 30 minutes or so to harden. Once you get a nice hard shell, you'll be able to crack it out. Super simple, again, because silicone, it'll just slide right on out. Keep it on like a baking sheet lined with parchment so it doesn't stick. Keep it in the fridge, keep it in the freezer until you're ready to make your bombs.